So hello everyone, today we will be discussing one of the problems from the Codechef competition, which is nothing but the positive products. So the question says that we have a array A which has total n elements, and what we have to do is we have to randomly choose any two index which are I and j. Note that I and j cannot be same, that has to be noted one point. So what we have to do is we have to find such two indices whose product is going to be greater than 0. And the test conditions also, you can say that the number of test cases are till 1000, the number of range, or you can say the input range is up to 10 to the power 5. So here they have mentioned everything. One more point, they have said that the sum of n over all test case does not exceed to multiplied by 10 power 5. But this statement, or you can say this method, is not at all going to be needed. This is just to confuse the end programmer, so that we might think that why this thing is given. So we don't have to pay any attention to such types of statement which they have given. So if you see, let's take one random array. So I have taken this random array and we will try to find the answer for this one. So we already know that the indices, when we are going to choose, when we take the product of those indices, only the positive result will occur in three cases. The number itself, both numbers are positive, that is the one case, but it is a default one, that is why I haven't written here. Second one is, if one of the number is not at all going to 0, then also it is guaranteed that the product will be positive. And if the number, any one number, is negative, then in that case you will get the negative product. So for that case, what we have to do is, only cases which will give us the answer is if both numbers are positive, one of the number is not at all 0, and one another is both and negative. So in that case only we are going to find the answer. And we can compute this one in the order of n. There is no need of brute force method, where you can just keep the two loops, and these two loops will run for like I to j, and then every time we will compute the product and we will see whether it is greater than 0 or not. So how we are going to tackle this problem? So the question is very simple. So what we have to do is, you have to just find the counts of positive numbers, counts of negative number. And why I am saying is, 0, whenever we are actually fetching the 0, or whenever you are taking the 0, there is no way that they are going to help us to compute something. So just discard them. There is no need of zeros. Only thing that you are going to need is positive numbers and negative numbers. So let's take the positive number. So here if you see, there is 2, there is 3, there is one more 5, then again 90 is there, and then 100 is there. So number of positive numbers are 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. So 5 positive numbers are there. So how many pairs you can create with the help of this 5? So this one is one pair, then again this one is one pair, this one like 2 and 90, 2 and 100, like that. So if I compute for 2, there will be 4 pairs. Similarly, if you compute for 3, so already, as I mentioned this one, that I and j are already covered up here. Like if this is my I and if this is my j, so this I and j are already covered. So you can see that they have already mentioned this I and j that cannot be duplicated, and they cannot be greater than this one. Like I must be less than or less than j. It cannot be equal to, or it cannot surpass j. So always the pair will lie from this part. Never it is going to occur that pair will lie from this end. So that is one clear. So from 2 you can create the 4. Similarly for 3 you can create the next 3, which is a 3, 5, 3, 90, 3, 100. So for 3 you have 3 pairs, for 5 you have 2 pairs, for 9 you have one pair, and for 100 there is no pair. So if you see, if you count the number of positive numbers which are present in your array, the number of pairs will always be, you have to perform decrement it by 1. Like if there are 5 numbers, then you can take it as a 4, and you can perform the simple formula, which is the summation of first 4 numbers, which is n in bracket n plus 1 by 2 divided by 2 here. So what computation we will get here, this one is going to be 2, and then again this one, so total 10 pairs. So you can just check whether we are actually getting 10 pairs or not. So for this one, as I mentioned, 4, this one is 3, this one is 2, and this one is 1. So obviously we are getting such pairs. Similarly, if you try to compute for the negative numbers also, so you have to perform the same logic. So here minus 8 is there, minus 9 is again one number, and again minus 8 is another number. So with the help of this one, I can create 2 pairs, minus 8, minus 9, minus 8, minus 8. These are 2 pairs. Minus 9 and minus 8 will be one pair, and for this one there will be 0 pair, because we cannot take any index which is greater than this one. So if my number of negative numbers is 3, then your answer will be, you have to do decrement by 1, that is a 2, because you are taking only two things in consideration. And then what you can implement is n into n in bracket n plus 1 by 2, so again 1 by 2. So you can just cancel out this 2 and 2, so 3 is there. So likewise, what final you have to do is just go through the array, count of positives, then count of negative, and then what you have to perform is you have to take one variable which is the answer, and just addition of those two numbers you have to do. But how you are going to do the addition, that is n in bracket n plus 1 by 2, this summation of first n numbers, you have to use the formula, and you can definitely get the final answer. And 0 in case, you can directly discard. So let's see the code which we are actually trying to write here. So if you see what I have did, so I have just taken the test cases here. As soon as I find the number of elements of array, what I try to do is I just take the input for this one. For computing the number of zeros, number of positive, negative, I have done this counter. So this variable is not at all needed. What I have did now, I just perform the decrement operation. There is no need of even taking array also. What you can do is just take a random simple any variable, just check if it is 0. If it is 0, you have to do nothing. But if it is greater than 0, that means it is a positive number, and if it is a negative, obviously that will be the ultimate else case. Once that part is done, you can just do decrement of those two, because as I already mentioned that the last index is never going to occur, so we have to decrement that one index. And then what we have done is, one more point that we need to know, that both this summation of counts of positive and negative must be greater than 0. But if you try to compute here itself, anyway it will be 0 ultimately. But this is like one safe condition which I have written, that if it is greater than 0, what I try to do here is n in bracket n plus 1 by 2. So this will give me total number of positive number which are going to create such pairs, and this will be the total of negative numbers which are going to give me this pair. So if I try to submit this one, you can see the all of test cases are getting passed here. And this is how, without using any brute force method, we can simply perform the implementation by just counting the number of positive numbers and number of negative numbers. No need of even take care of the zeros. You can just discard them, and no need of utilizing the taking vector or any array. You can directly skip this part. Thank you.